Right now, while you're watching this video, somewhere in a quiet room, a small group of people just made a decision that will affect the price of your groceries, your rent, your salary, and your future. You didn't vote for them. You probably don't know their names and they didn't ask for your opinion. Most people go their entire lives believing the economy is this massive, unpredictable force like weather. Something that simply happens to you completely out of your control. But what if that is exactly what they want you to think? The economy is a deliberately engineered machine. Specific levers are pulled to create specific outcomes. And once you identify those levers, your entire relationship with money changes. Let's start with who we assume is in charge. Politicians stand at podiums. They announce budgets. They take credit for job growth, and they promise lower prices. We believe them because they are the people we cast our ballots for. Governments can pass laws. They can spend public tax dollars, cut individual taxes, and build bridges. But there is one thing they almost never control: the actual price and supply of money itself. If the visible government doesn't control the foundational price of the currency you earn, that power belongs to a hidden hierarchy. Every major economy in the world has a central bank. In the United States, it's the Federal Reserve, and in the UK, it is the Bank of England, while in Japan, it's the Bank of Japan. These institutions hold a power that dictates global momentum, and they operate almost entirely independent of elected governments. There is no vote and no public debate, just a committee of economists meeting behind closed doors. They decide interest rates. They determine exactly how much money exists in the entire system. They dictate whether it is cheap or expensive to borrow money, which ultimately controls whether businesses expand, whether you can afford a home, and whether inflation rises and eats your savings. This diagram shows how that power travels. When the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, it sends shockwaves across the globe. Within hours, foreign mortgage rates go up and emerging markets cannot afford loans. Entire foreign currencies lose their value overnight. One meeting, one decision, a billion consequences. Moving one step up, we find the macro overseers. Institutions like the International Monetary Fund as well as the globally recognized World Bank. When a country runs out of money, the IMF acts as the lender of last resort. But those bailouts come with severe conditions. They force struggling nations to completely restructure their entire internal economies, demanding cuts to public spending and the privatization of industries. Then there are the private spaces, the Bank for International Settlements, often called the central bank of central banks, where the heads of the world's financial systems meet quietly in Switzerland. Or the World Economic Forum, where heads of state and billionaires coordinate the direction of the global economy. These international institutions effectively bypass domestic politics. They create a unified global financial policy that voters cannot touch, shaping the economic reality of countries before local politicians ever step to a podium. Above the central banks and international bodies sits the money behind the money. The asset management giants, firms like BlackRock, the Vanguard Group, and State Street. This diagram shows their scale. Together, these three firms manage over 20 trillion in assets, acting as the largest shareholders in almost every major corporation, major global banks, massive oil companies, leading tech giants, and media conglomerates. When you own that much, you guide corporate strategy and completely dictate board decisions across every sector simultaneously. The source of this 20 trillion comes from everyday retirement plans. Individual 401k pays and pensions provide the actual capital these giants use to vote on global corporate policy. Your money has a voice in the economy, but someone else is casting the vote. Now we reach the final deepest layer, the shadow capital. Hedge funds, private equity firms, and sovereign wealth funds. These massive entities operate largely outside the spotlight, moving huge amounts of capital that can instantly reshape industries. Sovereign wealth funds, which are massive investment portfolios controlled by governments, often even from oil-rich nations like Norway or Saudi Arabia, wield immense power. When a trillion-dollar fund buys into a nation's infrastructure, geopolitics completely shift. When they pull out of a sector, companies scramble just to survive. Job availability, Retail prices and the life or death of industries are the downstream effects of capital allocation decisions made by these unseen mega managers. Recognizing this hierarchy creates an opportunity to catch capital on its way down. When you can see the machine, you stop being caught in its gears. When central banks lower interest rates, borrowing becomes cheap. That's when smart investors take out loans to buy assets, real estate, businesses, stocks before prices rise. When rates go up, cash becomes king and bonds become attractive. This is pattern recognition, and the data is public. Individual investors can use tools like Bloomberg, Keyfin, and Macro Access to track institutional money flows. Listen to earnings calls and see exactly what sovereign wealth funds are buying in real time. The global financial system remains intact because its architecture is invisible to the public. Financial literacy is about seeing those underlying policy decisions. When your currency loses value, someone chose that. When a specific industry booms, someone directed capital there. The ultra-well study these central bank policies religiously. They diversify across multiple currencies, assets, and geographies, building income streams that insulate them from the failure of any single government. The economic machine will keep turning whether you understand its architecture or not. The people at the top got there by learning the rules of the game early. The only choice you have now is whether to learn the architecture and run with it or be left behind. If this video changed the way you see the world even slightly, that is exactly why it exists. Hit subscribe to keep seeing the financial world the way it actually works. Drop a comment below. Who did you think controlled the economy before watching this? We read every single one. And watch our next video because we're going to talk about what happens when this entire system starts to break. Don't miss it.